Most of Earth's living space is not on land. It is not in forests. It is not in cities. It is not even in the bright blue ocean you see from above. Most of it is below the last sunlight, in cold black water, under pressure strong enough to crush the human body. And the strangest part is this: it is alive. There is a world on Earth where the sun does not rise. No morning, no sunset, no blue sky, no moonlight, no seasons of light. Just black water, cold pressure, and life that should feel impossible. Tonight, we are going down into that world, not as a horror story, not as a fantasy, as a slow descent into the part of our own planet that almost never sees us. The impossible world sunlight never reaches, and the deeper we go, the less Earth feels like Earth. The first thing to understand is simple. The ocean does not turn dark all at once. It loses the sun slowly. At the surface, everything still feels normal. There is light, there is warmth, there are waves, there is color, blue water, silver fish, green plankton. Sunlight pours into the upper ocean and fills it with energy. This is the ocean most people imagine. Bright water, moving life, open space, a world that still belongs to the sky. But that bright layer is only the skin of the ocean, a thin surface, a ceiling of light. And below it, the real ocean begins. At about 200 meters down, the sunlight starts to fail. Not disappear, fail. The water begins removing the world, one color at a time. Red fades first, then orange, then yellow. The deeper you go, the less color survives. A red object would not look red for long. It would darken, then fade, then almost vanish. Before the ocean takes away the light, it takes away certainty. Your eyes still work, but the world they show you is no longer complete. This is the first trick of the deep ocean. It does not only hide things from you, it changes what seeing even means. At this depth, you are not in total darkness yet. You are in the twilight zone. The sun is still above you, but it no longer rules everything. It is too weak to build life the way it does near the surface. Plants cannot grow here the same way. Photosynthesis begins to fail. Food becomes rare. Shadows become useful. Darkness becomes protection. And animals begin to change. Bodies become softer. Eyes become larger. Shapes become stranger. Some animals turn silver, so they can disappear in the dim blue haze. Some turn red, because red becomes nearly invisible in deep water. Some become transparent, as if the best way to survive is to almost stop existing. And some make the most important decision life ever made in the dark ocean. If the sun will not bring light down here, they will make their own. But we are not there yet. First, we keep sinking. Imagine this for a moment. You are inside a small research submersible. The hatch is sealed. The surface ship is above you. For a few seconds, you can still see sunlight breaking through the water. It moves in soft lines across the glass. The world outside is blue. Then the sub begins to drop. 10 meters, 20, 50. The surface becomes less real. The waves vanish above you. The bright blue becomes deeper, darker, colder. At 100 meters, the ocean is still beautiful. At 200 meters, it becomes serious. At 300 meters, you look up, and the sun is no longer a sun. It is only a weak glow, a pale memory above your head. At 500 meters, you stop feeling like you are underwater. You feel like you are inside a black sky, except this sky has weight. This sky presses against the glass. This sky is alive. Something small crosses the beam of your light. You see it for half a second, a transparent body, a slow turn, then nothing. Another shape appears below you, maybe close, maybe far. It is impossible to tell. because darkness destroys scale. A small animal can look like a distant star. A large animal can appear from nowhere. And everything outside your light does not exist until it chooses to enter. This is where the human brain begins to lose control. We are built for horizons, for sky, for visible ground, for distance, for direction. But in the deep ocean, there is no path, no road, no wall, no floor yet. Only above, below, and black space in every direction. It feels like floating through space, but space is mostly empty. The deep ocean is not. That is what makes it harder to understand. At 700 meters, the last light is almost gone. You might still see a faint blue brightness above you. Not the sun, not a shape, just the final trace of the surface world. At this depth, a creature does not need to be fast to be dangerous. It does not need to be large to survive. It only needs to solve one problem. How do you live where sunlight never arrives? That question builds almost every strange body in the deep sea. How do you find food? How do you avoid being eaten? How do you find another living thing in the black? How do you know what is above you, when above is only darkness? There is no single answer. There are thousands. Some creatures wait, some drift, some glow, some hide. Some rise toward the surface every night. Some never leave the dark at all. And some live so slowly that their whole existence feels like it belongs to a different clock. But before any of that makes sense, we have to reach the line. The point where daylight stops being part of the story. Around 1,000 meters down, the ocean changes completely. This is where sunlight ends. Not becomes weak, not becomes dim. Ends. From here down, there is no day. There is no night. There is no sunrise tomorrow. There is no bright season. There is no cloudy afternoon. There is only black water. And if you were here without artificial light, you would not see your own hand. You would not see the water around you. You would not see the animal beside you, unless it wanted to be seen. That is the part people get wrong about the deep sea. They imagine darkness as empty, but darkness is not emptiness. Darkness is cover. Darkness is strategy. Darkness is a hunting ground. Darkness is a hiding place. Darkness is a language. And the deeper you go, the more obvious it becomes. The sun is not the center of every world on Earth. There are places on this planet where life has learned to continue without it. Not for one night, not for one season. Forever. Now think about that. Almost every familiar form of life near us is tied to sunlight. Forests, fields, gardens, coral reefs. The food chains we understand. Plants capture sunlight. Small animals eat plants. Larger animals eat them. Energy moves through the system. But in the deep ocean, that chain breaks. No sunlight means no photosynthesis. No photosynthesis means no plants. No plants means no normal surface food chain. So how is anything alive down there? This is the first real mystery. And the answer is almost stranger than the question. The deep ocean survives on things falling from above. Tiny pieces, dead plankton, fragments of animals, waste, dust from the living world. The remains of life that once touched sunlight, slowly falling down into the dark. A quiet rain of biological material. A snowfall in black water. Some pieces drift for days, some for weeks. Small flakes falling through hundreds and thousands of meters. No sound, no hurry. Just life from the bright ocean, sinking into the world without light. This is one reason the deep ocean feels so calm. So much of it depends on waiting. Waiting for food to fall. Waiting for a signal. Waiting for darkness to hide movement. Waiting for another creature to make one small mistake. But calm does not mean safe. The deep ocean is calm because energy is expensive. Fast movement costs too much. Bright light attracts attention. A wasted chase can mean death. So life becomes precise, slow, efficient. A creature may hang in place for hours. A mouth may wait open in the dark. A transparent body may drift without fighting the water. A light may blink only once, because once is enough. This is not a world of constant action. It is a world of perfect timing, and that is what makes it hypnotic. It also makes it dangerous in a quiet way, because in the deep ocean, you often do not see the system until the moment it works. A light turns on. A smaller animal moves toward it. A mouth opens. Then darkness returns. No noise, no chase, no drama. Just one small event in a black ocean that has been doing this for millions of years. And here is the next strange part. Below the sunlight, vision does not disappear. It becomes more important. That sounds backwards. Why would eyes matter in a place with no sunlight? Because the deep sea has its own light. Not sunlight, living light, bioluminescence, light made by organisms, light used to attract, to confuse, to warn, to hide, to communicate, to hunt. The deep ocean may look black to us, but to the animals living there, it can be filled with signals, small flashes, blue sparks, green glows, lines of light along a body, a lure hanging in front of a mouth, a glowing cloud released into the water like smoke. Imagine total darkness. Then one tiny light appears. It floats, it pulses, it looks harmless. In a world with no sun, light means something. Maybe food, maybe another animal, maybe safety. So something moves toward it, slowly, carefully. And that is the mistake. Because in the deep sea, light can be bait. This is why the dark ocean cannot be treated like a normal place. The rules are inverted. At the surface, light reveals danger. In the deep, light can be the danger. At the surface, color helps attract attention. In the deep, color can help you disappear. At the surface, speed can save you. In the deep, stillness may save more energy. At the surface, the sun organizes time. In the deep, time becomes biological. Hunger, pressure, migration, falling food, signals in the dark. This is why we started the first video here. Not with the biggest animal, not with the scariest creature, not with the deepest trench, but with the one fact that changes everything. There is a world on Earth where sunlight has no power, and life continues anyway. Now we move through that world carefully. First, the loss of light. Then, the loss of normal color. Then, the animals that almost disappear. Then, the creatures that make light. Then, the food that falls from above. And finally, the question that makes the deep ocean impossible to forget. If life can survive here, in black water, under crushing pressure, without plants, without day, without sun, then what else have we misunderstood about our own planet? Because the deep ocean is not just a place, it is a reminder, a quiet one. It tells us that Earth is much larger than the version we live on. The surface is not the whole story. The sunlight world is not the whole planet. Most of the living space on Earth is not where humans walk. It is below, under the waves, under the blue, under the last light, in the dark. And we are only beginning to understand it. At 1,000 meters, the pressure is already extreme. Every part of your body would be pressed by the weight of the water above. To a human without protection, this is not an environment. It is a force. A constant force from every direction. There is no empty space, no air, no gentle surface, just water pressing inward. This pressure changes how bodies can exist. Airspaces become dangerous. Rigid structures become costly. Soft bodies become useful. Gelatinous forms become common. The deep sea rewards bodies that bend instead of break. This is why many deep-sea animals look strange to us. They are not mistakes, they are solutions. A soft body is not weak here, it is practical. A huge mouth is not ugly, it is efficient. A slow movement is not laziness, it is survival. A glowing lure is not decoration, it is a weapon. When humans look at deep-sea creatures, we often call them alien. But they are not alien. They are Earth life, built for the part of Earth we almost never see, and that is more unsettling. Alien means elsewhere. Deep sea means here, under us, on the same planet, right now. While cities are lit at night, while people sleep in warm rooms, while traffic moves under streetlights, there is another Earth below the ocean. A dark Earth, a quiet Earth, a cold Earth, a living Earth, and it does not need us to notice it. Now picture the sub again. The last blue glow above is gone. Your lights are the only lights now. They cut through a small cone of water. Everything outside that cone is invisible. A tiny animal crosses the beam, then another. A translucent shape turns slowly. Something flashes in the distance, then disappears. You do not know if it was close and small, or far away and large. That is one of the strangest effects of deep ocean darkness. It destroys scale. It removes reference points. It takes away your ability to guess. A glowing dot may be a tiny animal close to the glass, or something larger, farther away, waiting beyond the light. And in that black room with no walls, the animals have had millions of years to learn how to use darkness better than we ever could. This is why a calm, deep-sea documentary can still hold attention. Not because it is loud, not because it shocks you every second, but because every layer gives you one more impossible fact. No sunlight, no plants, no normal color, no easy food, no safe pressure, and still life. The deeper we go, the less the surface world explains. That is the point. We are entering a place where the normal rules of life have been rewritten. And the first rewritten rule is this: light is no longer free. At the surface, light pours down every day. It is everywhere. It reflects off waves, it warms skin, it fills the sky. But in the deep ocean, light is expensive. If an animal makes light, it spends energy. So the light must matter. It must do something. Every glow has a job, a warning, a lie, a lure, a disguise, a message, a shield. This means the deep ocean is not just dark, it is coded. Flashes are information, patterns are information, darkness is information, stillness is information. A predator may not chase, it may wait where the signal will work. A prey animal may not flee, it may vanish by becoming transparent. Another may release light into the water to distract an attacker. Another may shine downward, just enough to erase its own shadow from below. A living invisibility trick, not magic, biology. This is what makes the deep ocean so difficult to explain simply. Every time you think you understand the rule, another animal bends it. No sunlight? They make light. No plants? They eat falling snow. No hiding places? They become invisible. No warmth? They slow down. No easy food? They build bodies that can survive long gaps between meals. The deep ocean is not impossible because life should not exist there. It is impossible because life found a way anyway, and we are still only at the doorway. We have not reached the abyssal plains. We have not reached the trenches. We have not reached the boiling vents. We have not reached the underwater lakes. We have not reached the places where the ocean floor itself begins to look like another planet. This first part is only the border, the place where the sun stops, the point where the surface world loses control. And once sunlight is gone, everything becomes negotiation. Energy must be saved. Signals must be careful. Movement must be worth it. Food must be used completely, and survival depends on reading a world humans can barely see. So before we go deeper, hold on to this idea. The deep ocean is not a dark version of the surface ocean. It is a different system, a different clock, a different economy, a different way for life to exist. And the sun, the thing that powers almost everything we know, is no longer in charge. That is why this place matters, because it proves that life is not limited to the worlds we find comfortable. It does not need brightness. It does not need warmth. It does not need open sky. It can survive in pressure, in cold, in darkness, in waiting, in falling snow, in brief flashes of living light. And that brings us to the next layer. Because once sunlight disappears, the ocean does something that feels impossible. It starts to make its own stars. Small ones, moving ones, living ones. Not in the sky, in the water. And in the next part, we are going into the living light. The animals that glow in total darkness, the signals that appear and vanish, and the traps that only work, because the sun never reaches this world. The deep ocean is not dark in the way we imagine. It flashes, it blinks, it hides, it lies. And sometimes, the first light you see down there is the last thing another animal ever sees. Once sunlight disappears, the ocean does not simply become black. It starts answering back. A pulse, a spark, a blue line, a green glow, a floating dot that appears for 1 second, then vanishes. Down here, light is not decoration. Light is not background. Light is not free. Light is a decision. And in the deep sea, a decision can mean survival or death. This living light is called bioluminescence, but the word sounds cleaner than the reality, because what is happening down here is not simple glowing. It is communication in total darkness. It is hunting without noise. It is hiding by shining. It is survival written in flashes. At the surface, light belongs to the sky. In the deep ocean, light belongs to animals. And that changes everything. Imagine the submersible again. You are below the last sunlight now. The blue glow from above is gone. Your lights cut through the water, a narrow beam, a small cone of visibility. Everything else is black. Then the pilot dims the lights. For a few seconds, nothing happens. Then one tiny point appears, far ahead, blue. Then another, then 3 more. Then a soft line of light moves sideways, as if something drew a glowing thread through the water. You do not know what body made it. You do not know how close it is. You do not know if it is moving toward you or away from you. Then the lights vanish. The black returns. And suddenly you understand the deep sea differently. It is not empty darkness. It is a dark room full of signals. You are just not fluent in the language. The animals down here have been reading darkness for millions of years. They know when to glow. They know when not to. They know where to aim the light. They know how much is enough. Too little light, and no one sees the signal. Too much light, and everyone sees you. That balance shapes the entire world. The first thing living light can do is attract. A small glow in front of a mouth, a lure, a bait, a promise in the dark. An animal sees the light, it moves closer. Because in a place without sunlight, light usually means something. Maybe food, maybe another animal, maybe a chance. But the deep ocean does not give away easy chances. Sometimes the light is attached to a predator. Sometimes the safe thing is the trap. No chase, no roar, no sudden attack. Just a light, waiting. The victim moves toward it by choice, and the ocean closes the distance. But light is not only used to lure, it can also be used to vanish. That sounds impossible. How can shining make you harder to see? But in the deep ocean, this makes perfect sense. Even in the upper dark layers, a faint glow can still come from above. A predator looking up from below might see the shadow of an animal against that dim light. So some animals produce light from their underside. Not bright light, not random light, just enough light to match the glow above. They erase their own shadow. They become part of the water. This is counter-illumination, a living invisibility trick. No cloak, no magic, just biology matching the background. At the surface, to hide, you stay dark. In the deep, to hide, you may have to shine. That is the kind of rule this world creates. Light attracts, light hides, light warns, light lies, light speaks, and sometimes, light panics. Some deep-sea animals release glowing material when threatened. A bright cloud, a burst, a distraction. The attacker sees light where the animal used to be. For a moment, the predator has the wrong target. And in the deep sea, a moment is enough. The animal slips away into black water. The light remains behind, a false body made of glow. Now think about that. In the deep ocean, even escape can leave a message. Even fear can glow. Even defense can become a signal. Nothing down here is simple. And the more you understand the light, the more the darkness feels alive. But there is another strange rule. Most bioluminescent light in the ocean is blue or blue-green. Blue light travels well through seawater. It reaches farther than many other colors. So if an animal is trying to send a signal in black water, blue is useful. But this creates a trick. If many animals are tuned to blue light, then red light can become almost invisible to them. Some deep-sea predators use red light like a secret flashlight. To us, that sounds strange. A red searchlight in black water. But to some prey, that red light may barely register. The predator can see. The prey may not understand it is being seen. This is one of the strangest ideas in the deep sea. Not because it is loud, but because it is unfair. The ocean is not only dark, it is divided into different realities. What one animal sees, another may never notice. What looks invisible to one species may be obvious to another. What looks like a harmless glow may be a mouth. This is why deep sea life looks so strange. It is shaped by pressure, by hunger, by darkness, and by perception. What can be seen, what cannot be seen, and who is allowed to know the difference. Now picture a small fish in the dark. Its body may be red, or silver, or almost transparent. Its eyes may be huge, or reduced. Its lights may sit along the belly, near the eyes, at the mouth, on a lure. Each placement changes the message. Light under the body hides the shadow. Light near the mouth brings prey closer. Light released into the water distracts an attacker. Light is not one tool. It is an entire toolkit. And now the deep ocean starts to feel less like a place and more like a language made of darkness and timing. But the deep ocean is not still. Every night, one of the largest migrations on Earth begins. Not elephants, not birds, not whales crossing an ocean. Tiny animals, fish, squid, crustaceans, gelatinous creatures. A huge living layer of the ocean begins to rise, from deeper dark water toward the surface. Not because the surface is safe, because the surface has food. At night, the upper ocean becomes darker. Predators that hunt by sight have less advantage. So deep-sea creatures move upward under cover of night. They feed. Then, before sunrise, many sink back down, back into darkness, back into protection. This happens every night. A vertical migration, a hidden movement, a living tide, not of water, but of bodies. And most people never see it. From the surface, The ocean may look calm, a flat black sheet under the moon, quiet, empty, still. But below that stillness, the night shift has started. Bodies rise through the dark. Tiny lights move upward. Transparent animals drift into feeding layers. Predators follow. Signals flash. The ocean is not sleeping. It is changing shifts. This is why the deep ocean works so well for sleep. It has rhythm. Slow rhythm. Vertical rhythm. Almost like breathing. Up at night. Down by morning. Feed. Hide. Wait. Repeat. But the reason behind it is survival. Near the surface, there is more food, but there is also more danger. In the deep, there is more protection, but less food. So life negotiates between hunger and risk every night. And that negotiation moves billions of animals. Now imagine the submersible again. The pilot lowers the lights. At first, you see nothing. Then the darkness begins to answer. A small flash below, 2 flashes to the right, a slow green glow drifting upward, a blue pulse near the edge of the window. Then a chain of tiny lights appears and disappears, like something moving through the water without a body. For a moment, the ocean looks like a night sky turned inside out. But these are not stars. They are bodies, moving, hunting, hiding, signaling, living in a place that has never needed sunrise. Then the lights stop, all at once. The darkness closes again. The ocean gives you nothing. That is the feeling of the deep sea. It shows you just enough to keep the question alive. Then it takes the answer back. You never see the whole thing at once. You see a glow, then wonder what made it. You see a shape, then lose it. You see a mouth, then realize the light was part of the mouth. Every fact opens another door, and every door leads deeper. There is another strategy down here. Some animals do not hide by glowing. They hide by having almost no body at all. Transparency. A body that lets light pass through. If you have no hard shadow, if your edges are unclear, if your body looks like water, then predators have trouble finding you. This is not weakness, it is design. On land, protection often means hardness. Shells, bones, claws, speed. In the open ocean, protection can mean vanishing. No outline, no color, no shadow, no clear target. A body becomes a question. And sometimes, a question survives longer than an answer. This is why humans often misread the deep sea. We look at a creature and think, that is strange. But strange compared to what? A forest? A beach? A coral reef? A human body? The deep sea is not failing to look like our world. It is perfectly adapted to its own. Maybe the deeper we go, the less strange these animals become. Maybe the surface is just the easy version of life. Sunlight, warmth, color, air, abundant food, clear direction. Down here, life has to earn every advantage. And it does. Quietly, slowly, brilliantly. Now return to the lure. A lure is not just a glow. It is a psychological device in the dark. In a world where food is rare, a small moving light can become irresistible. The animal seeing it does not know the whole shape. It does not know what is behind the light. It only sees possibility, and possibility is enough. A small fish moves closer. The light moves slightly, not too fast, not too far, just enough to keep attention. The fish follows. The glow remains calm. The predator remains still. Energy is saved. Distance closes. The final movement may be fast, but everything before it is patience. The hunt begins before movement. It begins with attention. Control attention, and you control distance. That is almost psychological, not human psychology. biological psychology, stimulus, response, curiosity, approach, trap. The deep sea is full of quiet traps. Some are made of light, some are made of stillness, some are made of shape, some are made of timing, but all of them depend on the same dark truth. In a world with almost no information, even a tiny signal becomes powerful. That is why a flash matters. That is why a glow matters. That is why one point of light can change everything. And this is also why deep-sea documentaries can feel calm, because almost everything is slow, until the moment it is not. The water moves slowly, the animals drift, the lights appear softly, the darkness returns smoothly. There are no sudden colors everywhere, no crowded reef, no chaotic surface waves, just black water, small signals, and life conserving itself. The brain keeps listening because it wants the next answer, but the body can relax because the rhythm stays slow. Curiosity for the mind, calm for the nervous system. That is the balance. And the deep ocean naturally provides both. But a world without sunlight is not a world without information. Some animals use light, some use touch, some use smell, some sense movement in the water, some detect pressure changes, some respond to vibrations. Humans are visual animals. We trust sight. But in the deep ocean, sight is only one part of the story. An animal may know something is near before it sees it. A pressure wave, a chemical trace, a faint vibration, a shadow above, a flash to the side. All of these can become information. The deep sea is not empty black space. It is a field of signals. Most of them are not meant for us. And that raises another question. If the deep ocean is filled with signals we barely understand, how much life are we missing simply because we do not know how to look? The answer is probably a lot, because humans have explored only a small fraction of the deep ocean directly. Even when we send vehicles down, we see narrow paths, small windows, brief moments. The deep sea is too large, too dark, too pressurized, and too difficult to access for simple understanding. This means the world without sunlight is not only strange, it is still partly unknown. And unknown places change the way the mind listens, because every fact feels like a clue. The glowing animal is a clue. The transparent body is a clue. The nightly migration is a clue. The falling snow is a clue. Together, they point to one conclusion. Life does not need the world to be comfortable. It needs a system it can learn. And over time, life learns even the dark. Now we are going to follow the food again. Because all this light, all this hiding, all this migration still depends on energy. Where does the energy come from? Some comes from the surface, from the falling remains of life that once used sunlight. Marine snow, dead plankton, waste, fragments, tiny pieces drifting downward. Some animals intercept this snow as it falls. Some wait for it deeper down. Some feed on the animals that fed on it. Some rise at night to feed closer to the surface, then return to the dark. The deep ocean is connected to sunlight, but indirectly. It is like a world living on delayed messages from the surface, a meal from the past, a slow rain of former daylight. Even in the world sunlight never reaches, the memory of sunlight still falls. But not everywhere, not enough, not reliably. That is why large food falls matter. A dead animal sinking into the deep can change a small area for years. A whale fall can become an ecosystem. A body from the surface becomes a deep sea event. Scavengers arrive, then other animals, then smaller communities, then bacteria. Layer after layer of life using what has fallen. In the deep ocean, nothing is wasted quickly. Energy is too rare. A single fall can become a city. A temporary city, a dark city, a city built from the remains of a life that once breathed air. But that is a later part of this journey. For now, we stay with the living light, because the light tells us something important. The deep ocean is not passive. It does not simply receive what falls. It acts, it signals, it hunts, it hides, it rises, it adapts. It answers darkness with invention. Tiny organisms glow when disturbed. Predators carry lures. Prey use flashes to escape. Animals erase their shadows. Some create displays we still do not fully understand. The deeper you look, the more the black ocean becomes a communication network. Not constant, not loud, but active. This is why total darkness can be misleading. Physically, yes, the deep ocean receives no sunlight. But biologically, it is not simply dark. It is full of controlled light, rare light, purposeful light, expensive light, light that means something. And when something means something, there is always another layer. Who is the signal for? Who is watching? Who is being tricked? Who is being warned? Who is being invited closer? And who is waiting behind the glow? That question is the deep ocean in one sentence. Who is waiting behind the glow? Now we are close to the next mystery. Once you understand that the deep ocean can make its own light, another question becomes unavoidable. What does this world eat? Not one animal, not one predator, the whole system. How does a world without plants, without sunlight, without forests, without fields, keep feeding itself? Part of the answer is migration. Part of it is predation. Part of it is marine snow. Part of it is patience. And part of it is something even stranger. In the deep ocean, death does not simply disappear. It becomes structure. It becomes food. It becomes habitat. It becomes the beginning of another system. Things fall from the sunlight world, and the dark ocean uses almost everything. A tiny flake, a dead plankton, a sinking jellyfish, a fish carcass, a whale. Even the smallest falling piece can matter, because down here, nothing arrives casually. Everything that falls is information, a signal, a chance, a meal, a change in the dark. And that is where we are going next. We have seen the world without sunlight. We have seen the living light that answers the dark. Now we have to follow what falls. The slow rain, the endless snow, the bodies that sink, the food that arrives from above. Because the deep ocean may not have sunlight, but it has gravity, and gravity never stops feeding the dark. The deep ocean may not have sunlight, but it has gravity, and gravity never stops feeding the dark. That is the next rule. In the world above, life grows upward. Plants reach for light, forests rise, coral reefs build toward the sun, animals move through bright water. Energy feels like something that comes from above, as light. But in the deep ocean, energy comes from above in another form, not as light, as falling pieces, tiny remains, dead cells, broken bodies, waste, fragments, a slow rain from the living surface. This is marine snow, and it is one of the quietest food systems on Earth. It does not look powerful. It does not look dramatic. It does not look like something that could feed a world. Just tiny white particles falling through black water, slowly, constantly, almost invisibly. But in a place where food is rare, a falling speck can matter. A small flake can become a meal. A drifting fragment can become energy. A piece of the sunlit ocean can become life in a world the sun never reaches. That is the strange connection. Even down here, where sunlight never arrives, the surface still sends its remains. The deep ocean lives on delayed sunlight, not sunlight itself, the memory of sunlight, falling. Now imagine one tiny particle. It begins near the surface, in the bright ocean. Maybe it was once part of plankton, maybe part of a small animal, maybe waste from something that fed in the upper water. At first, it is surrounded by light. Then it begins to sink, slowly, past the fish, past the blue water, past the last bright layer, past the twilight zone. It drops through colder water, darker water, quieter water. By the time it reaches the deep, it is no longer part of the surface world. It has become a message, a small package of energy, a signal to anything waiting below. And something is always waiting. That is what makes marine snow so important. The deep ocean does not need a feast every day. It survives on patience. It survives on small arrivals. A particle here, a fragment there, a body sinking somewhere else. Food does not come in a steady plate. It comes as chance. And life down here is built around chance. Some animals filter tiny particles from the water. Some collect what settles on the seafloor. Some wait for larger pieces. Some follow scent. Some follow movement. Some follow death. Because in the deep ocean, death is not the end of the story. It is often the beginning of another one. This is where the dark world becomes even stranger. At the surface, a dead body disappears quickly. Scavengers arrive. Bacteria work. The system moves fast. But in the deep ocean, a large body can become an event. A whale sinking from the surface can feed a community for years. Think about that. An animal that lived in air, that rose to breathe, that carried warmth in its blood, dies near the surface and falls into a world without sunlight. A body from the bright world enters the black world, and the ocean floor changes. The fall may take hours. The body sinks through layers of water, through the last light, through the twilight, through the black, until it reaches the seafloor. There is no funeral, no sound, no witness from the surface, just a massive body arriving in the dark. But down there, it is not only a body, it is a sudden landscape, a mountain of food, a temporary city, a deep sea signal. Scavengers can arrive from far away. Hagfish, sharks, crabs, worms, bacteria. Layer after layer of life begins to use what has fallen. First, the large scavengers take what they can. Then smaller animals move in. Then the bones themselves become part of the system. Even after the flesh is gone, the whale can keep feeding life. The deep sea does not waste a gift like that. It cannot afford to. In a world where food falls slowly, a whale fall is not just a meal. It is a transformation. The empty seafloor becomes active. The dark becomes crowded. The quiet becomes organized. Life gathers around death, not as horror, but as recycling, as structure, as survival. And this is the deep ocean again breaking the surface rule. At the surface, death often feels like disappearance. Down here, death becomes habitat. It becomes shelter. It becomes chemistry. It becomes a reason for animals to gather in a place where gathering is rare. A single body can become a world. Now hold that idea, because it changes how we understand the deep ocean. The dark sea is not just waiting for life. It is waiting for arrivals. Snow, fragments, carcasses, sinking bodies, chemical energy. Anything that can be turned into survival. The deep ocean is a world of receivers, but not passive receivers. It takes what falls and builds systems around it. That is why the seafloor is not just the bottom. It is where falling things become new beginnings. Now imagine the submersible again. It is lower now, much lower. The water outside is black. The lights sweep slowly over the seafloor. At first, The bottom looks empty, flat, pale, quiet. A wide plain of sediment. The kind of place your brain wants to dismiss. Nothing here. Nothing happening. But then the light catches movement. A small animal half buried in the sediment. A thin trail across the floor. A soft shape drifting above the mud. A brittle star moving slowly. A sea cucumber feeding on the surface. Tiny organisms working through material that fell from above. The floor is not empty. It is slow. That is different. The mistake is expecting activity to look like surface activity. On land, life announces itself. Birds move. Leaves shake. Insects buzz. Animals cross open ground. At the surface ocean, fish flash. Waves move. Light dances. But on the deep sea floor, life can be almost silent, almost hidden, almost still. It may move in centimeters. It may feed slowly. It may wait for months. It may survive on less energy than we can easily imagine. The deep sea is not dead. It is low energy. And low energy creates a different kind of life. Slow does not mean simple. Slow means careful. Slow means efficient. Slow means every movement has a cost. This is the rhythm of the abyss, not the dramatic rhythm of storms, not the fast rhythm of reefs. A slow economy of falling food, dark water, soft bodies, and long waiting. And yet, even here, there are places where the deep ocean suddenly changes. Places where the seafloor does not feel quiet. Places where heat rises from the earth itself. Places where black smoke pours into freezing water. Hydrothermal vents. These are some of the strangest places on the planet, because here, life does not depend on sunlight in the usual way. It gathers around chemical energy from the earth. Hot fluid rises from cracks in the seafloor. Minerals pour into the water. Black chimney structures grow. The water around them can be freezing, but the vent fluid can be extremely hot. A boiling oasis, inside cold darkness, and life gathers there. Tube worms, bacteria, crabs, shrimp. Strange communities built around chemistry instead of sunlight. This is one of the biggest twists in the story. The deep ocean is not only fed from above. Some parts are fed from below. From the earth itself, from heat, from chemistry, from cracks in the planet. That means the sun is not the only way to build a living world. This is why deep sea vents changed how scientists thought about life. Because if life can gather in darkness, around chemical energy, under pressure, far from sunlight, then life is more flexible than we once believed. It does not need the surface version of comfort. It needs energy. It needs chemistry. It needs time. And the deep sea gives it all three, in strange ways. Now this is where the video becomes bigger than the ocean, because when we study life without sunlight on Earth, we start thinking differently about life elsewhere. Not fantasy, not science fiction. A real scientific question. If life can survive in dark oceans here, around chemical energy, under pressure, then where else could it survive? Under ice? Inside ocean worlds? In places where sunlight is weak or absent, but chemistry still exists? The deep ocean does not prove life exists elsewhere, but it changes what we are willing to imagine. It tells us not to look only for warm beaches and bright skies. It tells us that life can hide in cold places, dark places, pressurized places, places we would never choose to live. That is why the deep ocean feels almost cosmic. It is not space, but it teaches the same lesson. The universe may be stranger than our comfort zone, and Earth already is. Now return to the seafloor, away from the vents, away from the bright biological signals, back to the wide, dark plain. Particles keep falling. Marine snow keeps drifting. Animals keep waiting. Some lights flash above, Some bodies rise toward the surface at night. Some return before morning. A dead whale somewhere becomes a city. A vent somewhere becomes an oasis. A trench somewhere holds pressure almost impossible to imagine. All of this is happening at the same time, not in one place, across the deep ocean, across most of the planet's living space, while humans live on the thin, bright edge. That is the scale we forget. The deep ocean is not a small, hidden room. It is enormous. It covers huge parts of Earth. It holds more space than the forests, more space than the mountains, more space than the cities, more space than almost any environment we personally understand. And yet, we know it in fragments. A dive here, a camera there, a sample, a light beam, a short recording. A vehicle path over a seafloor that continues for thousands of kilometers. We do not see the deep ocean the way we see land. We see glimpses. And glimpses create a strange kind of knowledge. Enough to know it is alive. Not enough to know it fully. Enough to know the rules are different. Not enough to know every rule. Enough to be amazed. Not enough to be finished. That is why the deep ocean keeps pulling attention back. It is not just mysterious because it is dark. It is mysterious because it is near. It is on our planet. It is under the surface. It is not a distant galaxy. It is not a fantasy world. It is here. And still, it feels unreachable. Now let us bring the whole journey together. We started at the surface, in the bright world. A world with waves, sunlight, color, warmth, and familiar life. Then we sank. At 200 meters, the sun began to fail. Colors vanished. Red disappeared. Shadows grew stronger. The ocean began to edit reality. At 1,000 meters, daylight ended. No sunrise, no sunset, no day, only black water. But the darkness was not empty. It was full of bodies, signals, waiting, and living light. We saw how animals use light as bait, as camouflage, as warning, as confusion, as a language. We saw that in the deep sea, to hide, you may have to shine. To hunt, you may have to wait. To survive, you may have to become almost invisible. Then we followed movement. Every night, billions of animals rise. The deep ocean shifts upward. The surface feeds them. Then the dark takes them back before morning. A hidden migration, a vertical breathing of life. Then we followed food. Not sunlight, not plants, but falling matter. Marine snow, fragments, carcasses, bodies, gravity feeding the dark. And now we reach the final idea. The deep ocean is not one mystery. It is a system of mysteries. Darkness is one. Pressure is one. Food is one. Light is one. Migration is one. Chemistry is one. Time is one. And life connects them all. That is what makes this world impossible. Not that one strange animal exists there. Not that one trench is deep. Not that one fish glows. The impossible part is that the whole system works. Quietly, continuously, without sunlight, without day, without the rules we usually connect to life. It works in black water. It works under pressure. It works slowly. It works with falling snow. It works with living light. It works with death becoming food. It works with chemistry rising from the earth. It works because life does not demand the world be easy. Life adapts to the world it gets. That is the real story. Now imagine one final scene. The submersible is still on the seafloor. The lights are low. The water outside is black. Particles drift past the window, one by one, slowly, like ash, like snow, like tiny messages from a bright world far above. A small animal moves across the sediment. Another shape lifts from the floor, then settles again. A faint glow appears in the distance, then disappears. Nothing loud happens. No monster arrives. No dramatic event breaks the silence. And yet, everything is happening. Food is falling. Signals are passing. Animals are waiting. Bacteria are working. Carbon is moving. Life is continuing. The scene looks almost empty, because humans are bad at seeing slow systems. But the deep ocean does not care whether we notice. It was here before our lights. It will continue after we leave. The pilot turns the submersible upward. The seafloor begins to fall away beneath you. The light from the vehicle catches one last cloud of particles. They drift down as you rise. You are going up. They are going down. You are returning to the world of air, sunrise, weather, noise, and color. They are continuing into the dark, and that difference stays with you because the surface feels normal again. But now it feels thinner, like a bright skin over something much larger. You realize that the world you know, the world of streets and rooms and windows and morning light, is only one version of Earth. Below it, there is another version. Cold, dark, pressurized, slow, alive. A world that does not need sunrise to begin. A world where light is made by bodies, where snow falls upward from life and downward through darkness, where death feeds cities, where pressure shapes bodies, where patience becomes a survival strategy, where the ocean floor is not an ending, but a place where falling things are used again. This is why the deep ocean matters. It changes the scale of home. It reminds us that Earth is not only the world we can stand on, it is also the world beneath the waves, the world below the last light, the world where the sun stops being powerful, but life does not stop. And maybe that is the calmest, strange thought in the entire journey. Life does not always need brightness. It does not always need speed. It does not always need noise. It does not always need the surface. Sometimes life continues in darkness, quietly, slowly, efficiently, almost invisibly. And if we are patient enough to look, the dark is not empty. It is full of systems, full of signals, full of waiting, full of transformation, full of answers we did not know to ask for. Now the surface is closer. A faint blue returns above, the first suggestion of light. After so much darkness, even a weak glow feels strange. The submersible rises through the water. The black becomes deep blue, then dim blue, then brighter blue. Color begins to return, not all at once, slowly, as if the ocean is giving the world back piece by piece. The surface ship waits above. The waves move. Air waits, daylight waits, but something has changed. Because now you know what is underneath it. You know that below the blue surface, below the swimming fish, below the last sunlight, there is a world that never sees morning. And it is not empty. It is alive. It is working. It is feeding. It is glowing. It is waiting. The impossible world sunlight never reaches is not impossible because it cannot exist. It is impossible because it does exist. Here, on Earth, under the ocean, right now. And while the surface sleeps, the deep ocean continues. Snow keeps falling. Lights keep flashing. Bodies keep rising. Predators keep waiting. Signals keep passing through black water. And somewhere below the last light, life keeps proving that darkness is not the end of the story. It is only another way for the story to continue.